I remember my dad saying, you know, open your mouth and shut your eyes and Daddy will give you a big surprise, and that was my first 714 Quaalude. At that point, with every drug I ever did, starting with that, I couldn't get enough. My name is Angella Moore. Hear my story. The strongest, I think, best memory from my childhood is going to my grandma and grandpa's, because they were my safe place. Grandma made the most snuggly beds, and I felt safe there. And I wanted to marry a man just like my grandpa. He taught me how to garden. We went on walks to see the horses. He would cook bacon and cook breakfast, and we would wake up to the smell of bacon, and their house was just my haven. And they never drank, they never smoked. It was just a whole nother world. And it was my safe world, and I loved going there. My dad was a alcoholic addict, and at 6 years old, I should have known I was going to go down the wrong tubes. You know, all the isms started then, because I was skipping school and smoking cigarettes at 6 years old, literally. And so I did a lot of partying with my dad and his friends, and I lived for my dad's approval. I loved the attention from my dad and his friends. I thrived on it. So often he wouldn't come to pick us up, and I would be devastated, you know. So when he did, I don't know. We had a lot of fun. We did. We had a lot of fun. Dad was like my best friend. He really was. I don't remember like a year of my life when I was 16, because, you know, he would feed me like Valiums, like they were going out of style, and, you know, you drink with Valiums. And so, you know, it was kind of a twisted relationship, but I love my dad. So when I was 16, I had had 3 DUIs by that point. So I ran from Kansas City, Missouri, came to Florida. You know, that geographical change they talk about. I was going to fix everything. And I met my newest addiction, my husband, who would be my husband for the next 23 years. And he was like my addiction as much as anything was. I got heavily into cocaine and drinking. And I continued to get a couple more DUIs. I don't know. By the time I was 27, I had 6 DUIs. I had been in some really bad situations. We had a couple of babies together. I lost a couple of babies. And as much as I loved those babies, I couldn't get clean. I tried. I was in and out of rehabs and treatment centers. And I remember one morning, it wasn't, at this point I was 27. I remember coming to and looking at the eyes of my little girl, and she just had this look. She was only 1. Like, what are you doing, Mommy? You know, and that was it. And I went to the AA hall at that point, and I got sober. And I did stay sober for like 7 or 8 years, but I worked kind of a halfway program of recovery. But I never worked the steps. I never worked on the inside, and that's the key to recovery. So I did go back out, and I was having migraine headaches, and I got addicted to opiates. The doctor gave me opiates. So I didn't drink for a really long time, but I did stay on those opiates on and off for 11 years, and it took me down I could eat 30 and 40. It was terrible. It was terrible, and I was very functional for the first many, many years. I was still selling timeshare and, you know, doing well, but I went down. And then after 23 years, my marriage, my father died in his addiction a week after my husband left, and so it took me a couple more years, and I had my little girl, and I was out, and I got my 7th DUI, and I hadn't had a DUI. I started drinking again, getting back into that. I have this little baby girl who kept me alive, and I sat on that jail cell floor, and I received the gift of desperation like never before. And up to that point, I was going to die on opiates. I was never going to quit. Never. I mean, really, I was not going to quit. But I don't know, God did something. I had a spiritual awakening on that jail cell floor, that 7th DUI. I was done. I felt like I had a spiritual experience. So from that point on, I hung on for dear life. It took me 27 days of detox, let's just put it that way, to get off, oh my gosh, to get off everything. And I started going to Celebrate Recovery, and I started working the steps like a love affair. I sought recovery in God like I sought drugs, alcohol, and men my entire life. I was all in this time. I was all in. I was willing to go to any lengths. I had the gift of desperation. I was done. The miracle today isn't that I don't drink and drug. It's that I don't want to. I have no desire to drink or drug or man. I've been clean for almost 9 years, and I spent my whole life trying to numb my feelings. I did not know how to feel my feelings and get through them to the other side. I was always looking for relief, always looking for satisfaction, always looking for that next high, always looking to feel better, always looking outside of myself and reaching for something to feel better, to find relief. And today, all I reach for is God. It's an inside job. If I can make it out of it alive, and free of drugs and alcohol, then anybody can. You just have to seek God first, trust Him, and do the next right thing you know to do. 1 minute at a time, 1 day at a time. He loves you so much. He has waited for you your entire life to come to this point. He never left you. He loved you. You're that one lost sheep that He puts on His shoulders and carries back to the herd. You're the one He's been after and loves with all of His heart, and you are worth it. There's nothing that you've done that He can't redeem and make right. Your past, you forget the former things. We don't dwell there anymore. He's doing a new thing in you. Now it springs up. If you're watching this now it springs up. He will make a way in the desert of your life and streams in the wasteland. He promises you, even you.